All right. Sorry I'm a little late. We had some technical difficulties. I had to reset the computer, so sorry I'm 10 minutes late and all that stuff. So we're still having some technical difficulties with the side chat and all that stuff here. So we'll have to wait and see what's coming up. Yeah, I had to reset the computer and it took a lot longer than I had to because when I reset the computer in a way. Basically, what happened was it decided not to finish up the process. Uh, anyway, so we are live right now, and I probably not many people on the side chat right now. So we'll just go right on to the video. So for the ones who are basically, I'm just gonna. Yeah, we were late today, getting up at 5:30. I had to reset the computer, basically because some mechanisms did not want to work, i.e., this microphone. I'm hoping is come in and all that stuff. Yeah, so I had to. I got. I got to turn something off here. Okay, so yeah. So we are running late. Hi, Travis. How you doing? And all that stuff. So that was my issue. Basically, just had to reset the computer. It was bad timing. I had everything ready to go, and I had a computer not telling me that I was not plugged in, and I was wondering why I not plugged in. I did a practice video with it plugged in, and the sound came through the computer, not through this. Basically, so that was my issues. So I had to do a reset. Reset the computer. Basically, I got to reset the computer about like once a week or so, and that's basically yeah. I had to make sure. I also had to make sure I was on my Wi-Fi connections and all that stuff before it got going. Okay. All right. Let's go right ahead to this video for the ones who are watching this live and the ones who are watching this later. Their own choosing and that. My thoughts on stuff, especially in the last week with YouTube. I guess all those fears that people had that they was going to lose their channels because of February 20th last week turned out to be not true and all that stuff. It was basically it would have been the biggest backlash on YouTube in YouTube history and all that stuff. So that did not happen. There was a few channels that lost their monetization because either they had their subs, but they were just under the watch time required, or they both were qualified, but their channels are still under review. Now all under review, basically. I heard one channel was under basically a review. Still lost its monetization, but under review. And I heard a few channels that left the MCNs are still under review. The ones who has the subs and the watch time met up. So that was basically it in that area too. So we'll just check out. We'll see who's all on. We got 2 watching. It's pretty good for this channel. I would say thank you very much. Sorry we're late and all that stuff. You know, technical difficulties can happen. I had some technical issues on our first live show on the other channel and all that stuff. So some of my thoughts lately with YouTube, I think it's just I think a lot of people is going to be crying foul basically because some of the content was pretty good, but they're still demonetized. But like I said, they're all under review. YouTube is really going to be busy. I have seen some signs of unsubbing, resubbing, unsubbing. It just goes back and forth, but I have not seen anybody as of yet. It's going to make my predictions. I got till March 15th for my prediction I made on this channel for massive unsubbing. Right now, I have not seen on this channel, and on the main channel, I have seen some people that unsub, and we get new subs right back. So it's one of those things. I'm going to be talking about that on the live show with a bigger audience on that. So basically, that's it. Otherwise, warmer weather is coming around here. We got some thoughts on that. Basically, just got to be careful. March 1st is tornado season in the Midwest, maybe throughout the United States now. That's when tornado season all officially begins, and also we start going into thunderstorm season. Even we still got a couple weeks of winter left, basically. We did hit a high of 61 degrees Fahrenheit, according to one of our thermostats, which that's good. But tomorrow we're going to be going back down to the mid 40s for our temperature. So it's going to be that. For anybody who's living around, basically who's living around the some of the smaller rivers, I think most of them are going to be back in the banks, but it's going to be muddy as heck around the area. Just kind of be careful and all that stuff. So just watch out in that general area when you're by small rivers and creeks. That's why I don't like to. I like to go down to the river. I just don't like to really want to. I don't think we have never lived any closer than I would say maybe like 3 or 4 blocks of a river. But that was when I was very young, when I used to live over in Fulton, Illinois. We was literally about 3 or 4 blocks from the Mississippi River. That was the closest we got to the Mississippi River. Excuse me for a second here. Yeah, I didn't want to burp on the air, so excuse me on that. So on that situation. Some other thoughts I might have coming up basically is we're planning our summer trips and that. I have not got the details on that. Angie and I were still debating on that. In fact, we did some stuff that was basically, you know what it is. It's that time of year. Yes, it is. So we're looking at some refunds and that, and we're probably putting together a small budget of possibly going out of town, hopefully this summer, if plans and financial stays put together. You know, it's our priorities. But right now, we do have spending priorities we have to do here first, and or on the internet, or anything with the computers and all that stuff. Last year, basically, we had to buy a new computer. We had to make monthly payments on that, so that kind of somewhat affected a trip. But we really went out, and we went on a trip anyway. It was not a trip I really wanted to plan, but it was a trip anyway. It was out of town. And thanks to my brother Bill, let me use his car for about 7 months last year. We made some good videos and all that stuff. And of course, my thoughts on that too is when I was talking about business cards, I was watching some video. I was watching one of our older videos, not on YouTube. I have it on file, so I watched the files. So basically, with the business cards on us, I would just say, let's go with our Cedar Point trip. That's when we should have had our business cards then. Basically, what happened was every time when we fueled up, we could have left the card at the pump before we left town. When we stopped at DeKalb Oasis out there by DeKalb, Illinois, Angie was going to go to her restroom on one side of the building. I was going on the other side. She could have left the card on one side. I could have left the card on the other side. It could have been 2 cards, so there was 3 cards there we could have left. We went to Buffalo Wild Wings for dinner. We could have left a card there. We could have left a few cards with our Facebook friend for him to distribute around town wherever he hangs out at, or where eateries he hangs out, or who he talks to. We could have left about 10 to 15 cards with him, or maybe 20. I don't know. We'll see. But that was basically, we could have done that. We could have left a card 2 cards at the hotel when we checked out, and when we got done eating breakfast, basically at the little breakfast room at the hotel that we stayed at. Then there would have been one at the Elkhart. It would have been one at the Elkhart stop where we stopped at Callahan's. We could have stopped there. We stopped there. We could have left the card there. We went down the street a few up. We could have left the card at the pump there. We went to Tim Hortons in Maumee, Ohio. We could have, just as we was leaving, we could have left the card at a table or something like that. I think we would have left, I don't think we would have left it at the toll booth. That would have been a bad location, too windy in those situations. But we talked to people at Walmart in Sandusky, Ohio. We could have left them, gave them cards. I mean, that was just going out. Just going around town the next day, the park, 2 days at the park, and coming home, I think we could have easily distributed well over 100 cards just on that trip alone. The Milwaukee trip last year, we could have easily left another 10 to 15 possibly on the trip. It all depends with how many stops we make along the way. Hang on a second here. I got to go do something off camera here real quick here. Sorry about that. I'm blowing my nose here, so sorry about that. Angie said something. I forgot what she said, but yeah, I'm back. Okay. Basically, so there's a lot of stuff that could go on. Plans can go, basically, when we were planning something, usually it plans okay, it ends out okay, but usually the execution comes out wrong. Anybody who knows how to plan trips, you know, there's always little details that can go awry. Underestimated budgets and all that stuff. I'll talk about another video, probably another live show, basically on that situation. Probably on a later date. Maybe next time when I go live, I'll just do this unannounced, not scheduled. Basically, how's that? Just give it a thumbs up or something like that. Basically, if you like that idea and all that stuff. And yeah, so it's been a crazy time. Right now, things are calming down on the YouTube scene, but there's still some upset people making videos. They're pleading for their watch times to get up. Some may have to adjust their watch times a little bit. We'll probably have to go in details on that. We had some situations here in town. That's why on the main channel, that's why you had a couple. That's why you had a kind of lame video last night. Unfortunately, for some reason, I lost a few subs, but I was able to gain back those subs. Anyway, there was a situation of dog abuse situation that I will have that up on the main channel tonight, basically. And I think we're going to try to go back. But right now, as of right now, I'll spill it on this channel. I'll spill it later, on a couple days later on the main channel. The two people who was involved in dog abuse, there was like 9 pit bulls, 1 died, and 8 is nursing back to health at the local humane society. They had received a lot of donations and food and even some toys for the dogs to play with, and anybody for all the other dogs that's still looking for homes. But they're being nursed back to health. These are pit bulls, so they're not going to be easy to adopt out. Pit bull owners are really strict under a lot of rules and regulations when it comes to owning such animals. So they may not be easy to find homes for once they get to health, up to health and all that stuff. But the owners are facing 9 accounts of animal neglect. A lot of people here in town that are fearing that it's going to be a slap on the wrist and all that stuff. So it's going to be kind of a touchy situation and all that stuff. So if you guys know, and what angered a lot of people, and a lot of people was angered this, I kind of heard it down in the neighborhood, basically was they started reporting it about 2.5, 3 years ago, basically. They were not happy at all for the slow responses that they had, or just put on the back burner and all that stuff. There was a controversy with the we don't have what they call a animal control officer, because everybody complained about how pricey how much money she made for so little work. Basically, people complain about that. I told people, you better be careful. It's going to bite you in the butt if they decide to get rid of the animal control, or when the person is forced to retire. Basically, they decided to dissolve the post, and this is what we got right now. So I would not be surprised if there was a lot more animal abuse here in town or anywhere else around the area. But if there's animal abuse in your area, you know about it, report it. If you know anything else with child abuse and all that stuff, report it and all that stuff. Plus, you got to know, when it comes to abuse, you got to know the difference between what's discipline and what's abuse. Basically, there is a fine line that the parents cannot cross. If they spank a kid once or probably 3 times, that's considered discipline. But if they go more than 3 times, that is going to abuse situation. So if they keep on hitting the kid more than 3 times, I would say that would be considered abuse. Basically, 3 spankings on the bottom is good enough. Basically, but you don't want to see a kid shaking a kid. That's considered abuse too, and all that stuff. So if you see it, report it as much as possible and all that stuff. And unfortunately, that stuff is also being put up on YouTube as to get views and monetization. YouTube, we need to, as people, when you see abuse on videos, if you see abusive videos, you guys know what to do. You guys need to start flagging the videos if it looks like abuse. But don't be flagging wrong videos that is bringing it out to acknowledge. Even if I see it, I'll probably flag them myself. But sometimes YouTube are so busy, they don't even pay attention to people who's flagging videos hardly anymore. You know what? I seen YouTube takes down channels just to show a how to make a grilled cheese sandwich, basically. And I seen YouTube take down those channels instead, basically. Sounds funny, but it's true. But YouTube is kind of screwed up in those areas too, and all that stuff. We're going to wrap it up here real quick with this quick live show and all that stuff. And basically, we'll try to go. If we do another schedule, we'll see if we don't have to reset the computer. If we have to reset the computer, it looks like we're going to have to go unannounced on this channel. But I do have a live show on the Angie and Chuck show coming up on Saturday. I got it scheduled for 12 noon Central Standard Time. And we hope that does not go off with a hitch. We got to make sure the computer is already set to go on that one. So I don't want no glitches or late glitches going on. So I want to make sure everything's set up and lined and ready to go and all that stuff. So I wish I would have had more thoughts out, but I was kind of frustrated today how the show got started 10 minutes late. I had to reboot the computer or reset the computer because I had some technical glitches. I had to make sure everything's all connected and all that stuff. So we're going to cut out of here a little longer than I wanted to, basically, and all that stuff. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.